Today, but yet another space which has been seeing a lot of action, a lot of buzz ever since the Prime Minister's Independence Day address, which outlined India's the Clean India vision. You know, the companies like Somany Ceramics, these are the stocks which have been buzzing. Now, we are joined by the management of Somany Ceramics, Mr. Abhishek Somany, Joint Managing Director. He's joining us on the phone line from Mumbai to talk more about the kind of opportunity this Clean India vision actually provides to companies like Somany. Thank you so much, Mr. Somany, for joining us here on NDTV Profit. Now, we know at least the stocks have been performing quite well. Street has given a thumbs up to PM's vision of Clean India. But, you know, in real terms, what kind of an opportunity does it bring to your company?
It clearly has an opportunity. I don't know when it will get into reality, but the fact that the corporates have already outlaid particular amounts in this regard and in this respect. So therefore, we do see some action. The industry anyway has been growing at about 12-13%. Going forward with these initiatives, 2015 looks extremely bright. And if this catches momentum, I think we're looking at about 3 to 4 million toilets being made, and in value terms, anywhere between 2 and 3,000 crore rupees of extra business coming in from just this statement of the PM.
You know, which quarters do you see this actually starting, you know, because this just now the announcement has been made, corporates have started coming in and giving their input. Now, for companies like yours, because this is, as you also mentioned, this is going to take time, but, you know, roughly in terms of revenues, growth, which quarters do you see that coming in?
I think it would take at least a couple of quarters to come on ground, but the movement is very positive. While that's happening, the company is growing at 20+%, and we are very, very clear and very, very focused on that figure on the top line as far as the next couple of years are concerned. This would only add to that figure. So let's see when this happens. It's hard to say because, like I said, a couple of quarters is something which we envisage.
Right. You know, do you have any, I'm sure you have your ears to the ground and you will also be picking up what is happening on the ground. Have you seen, whether in rural or in urban areas, that municipal authorities are also, you know, spending on increasing drainage or the linkages needed for these toilets to be successful?
Not really. Nothing is on cards. But what I can say is that the industry has seen growth from the tier 2, tier 3 towns in the last 2 to 3 years. So today, as we speak, about 70% of our revenue comes from tier 2 and tier 3 towns. So this is going to percolate even lower as we go forward. While we're talking of, you know, 31% of India being urbanized, and we're looking at the next 15 years where we would take this to about 40% of India being urbanized. So this is going to happen in the tier 4, 5 towns going forward.
Right. I'm trying to understand for your business, when you're saying 70% of your business is coming from tier 2 and tier 3 towns, is it the volume growth that is going to drive your business here? What is the kind of realizations that you get from these areas?
So if you've seen our last quarter results, we've grown by about 14-15% by volume, and the balance 10% of the 25% growth has been from value. So I think that would be the same ratio, whatever the final figure is. It is going to be a 65-35 or a 60-40 between volume and value kind of growth.
Right. And when it comes to your tile industry, tile business in particular, do we see some capacity expansion coming in FY15, and what kind of margin outlook are you expecting?
Our expansion, I've talked about it in my report after the quarter results. We are looking at ramping up capacity from the 42 million currently to 55 million square meters per annum by FY15, which is March FY15. And for the FY15-16, again, we are building up more capacity. We're looking at expanding current joint ventures and also looking at tying up more joint ventures to make sure that we grow at 20+% by value volume put together.
Right. And what is going to be your strategy going ahead for, and what's your growth outlook for FY15?
FY15, we're looking at 20+% growth on the top line.
So how do you see that getting in from 14 to 15% volume growth that you have seen right now?
Correct. And the balance would be from value. So we are emphasizing a lot on the value-added mix. So whatever mix we have today, which is distributed between the bottom and mid segment versus the value-added, we are pushing more and more to enhance the value-added mix. And in this respect, all the capacity which is kicking in from now till till March 15, a substantial portion of that, a good 70% of that, is in the value-added space.
All right, Mrs. Somany, thank you so much for speaking to us on NDTV Profit and giving us more details of how your company is planning to seize the growth opportunity going ahead, especially with the thrust coming in on building toilets across the country. Let's now move on and tell you about some individual stocks that are in